I loved the guitar, especially like when she was playing like 80s hair bands for us, or like 70s rock music, like Led Zeppelin and things like that. Like it was so guitar forward. I was like, that's an awesome instrument. I want to play that.
Welcome everyone to the Augustine Strings Wind Up. Before we start, make sure you subscribe to the Augustine Strings channel if you're not subscribed yet. Leo is already subscribed, so do the same. And today we have the one and only Leonela Alejandro, the winner of the last GFA Guitar Foundation of America competition that happened last year, 2024. In Fullerton, California, and today we have Leo here for a very special conversation. We'll talk about many things, the competition, of course.
Yeah.
Leo, I don't know if you, I know you know, but for our friends watching, how does this work? For every string that Leo changes, there will be a different topic. The first string, E string, we're gonna talk, it's an Entree.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have a conversation here. The second string, B, we're going to talk about beginnings. Third string, G, we're going to talk about this guitar that you brought today. Fourth string, D, we're going to talk about dreams. Fifth string, we asked our friends on Instagram to ask you questions, so I'm going to choose some of them to ask you. Mm-hmm. And the sixth string, my name is Edu with an E, I can ask whatever I want.
Awesome.
So we'll see how it goes.
Good plan.
Leo today will be using Paragon Red. What can you tell us about Paragon Red? Why do you like Paragon Red?
I love this string so much. I used to experiment with a lot of different kinds of strings and different tensions. Like for a while I would do like half sets, like half hard tension in the first three strings and then medium tension on the basses. But then when I started using carbon, I was like a nylon kid my whole life. I don't really know why. I don't know if I like thought about the choice, but I always used nylons. And when I moved to the US to start studying in Milwaukee with René Izquierdo, like that conversation would come up a lot. And so I started experimenting with carbons. And I love carbons. I feel like they just make your guitar sing so much more. And I landed on Paragon Reds. We were just talking about it a little bit, but I feel like the tension for this medium tension string, it feels like a little bit higher than an average medium tension string. And it's like the perfect sweet spot for me. And that's why I love Paragon Reds. They've never failed me.
So we're in New York, Brooklyn, New York.
Yes.
And you live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
So I love New York, but the reason I'm here is for a concert that I did recently at the Kosciuszko Foundation last Saturday. And I got invited through the Bloomingdale School of Music where you work for the guitar festival they do. It's the 13th year that they do it. And so Jose Maldonado, who's the director of the festival, reached out to me and invited me. And it was so easy to choose to come here and do this gig. And I was nervous because there's so many people in New York that I know, a lot of friends. And then I had a big surprise. It was packed. So then I was more nervous. And it's like so many people like you and Steve and like everyone was there and my family was there. But it was such a good, like the audience was just so great. Like, the energy of the audience was really accommodating and like really open. Like sometimes I feel like I'm talking at an audience and you know, you don't feel that energy. And for this concert, it was very like, I felt like they were there with me and it was such a fun, I had so much fun playing.
What I really like, I mean, there are many aspects of you as an artist that I love, but one aspect that I really like is the connection you make with the audience. Two parts. What do you think you get from the audience when you're on stage? And what do you think the audience get from you when you're performing?
Yeah. Well, what I get from the audience is like, I'm very much a performer. I feel like when I play guitar in front of an audience, it's like it's not that it's a different me, but like a different version of me. And I feel like in a lot of aspects of my life, I feel like a really anxious and shy person, but being on stage like is very transformative for me. And I think that's what I get from the audience is like that feeling of being perceived by them in that way makes me kind of turn into a different me where I can like really abandon any type of like normal Leonela personality and then I can be the performer. And I think from me, they can get kind of like insight into my personality. Like don't like the idea that you're just there to observe a performer, and it's like not interactive. So when I go see concerts and the artist addresses the audience in a way that feels like very personal, I just try not to be stiff, you know, because you can tell sometimes when the artist is a little bit uncomfortable with speaking in front of an audience, and I don't want them to feel that. I want them to be comfortable with me because I'm trying to get comfortable with them. So I think it's like a really cool exchange, and I like that every performance feels different because of that. And I try not to practice too much what I say. Like sometimes I'm thinking of like an anecdote about something and I'm like, well, maybe I'll share it, maybe I won't. And I feel really comfortable. I feel like I could be very like loose with this audience.
And I was at the GFA in Fullerton for the semifinals, for the finals.
Yeah.
And one thing that I really like, I was in the concert last Saturday too. You don't look like a different performer from playing at a competition and playing at a concert. Is that something that you perceived? I don't know if that's the word.
Yeah, I actually try to approach it with the same mentality. Because in the end of the day, I think a competition, like, I want to be evaluated not by like all these things that we think about when we play guitar. I want the judges and the audience to judge me as a performer. Like, I want to be able to entertain them, and I want to have fun. And I think if I go into a competition without that mentality, I'm going to have a miserable time. Like, it's already so nerve-wracking. It's so scary to be in that competition mindset that I actually competing is what kind of got me in touch with that aspect about myself, where like the performance aspect is like the most important part. Because my favorite guitarists or like my favorite musicians are very like that. They put on like a show in a way. And that's really important for me.
Let's move to the second string.
Okay.
You said you were always watching the GFA competition. Were you watching like one day I'll win this thing?
No. I mean, every time I watch it, I'm like, I wanted that. I want it so bad. I want to win GFA. But, you know, especially in Louisville when Rafael Fayatre won, when I saw him performing, I was like, I want to perform like that. I want to like...
Not even to win, but like, I want to perform like
the way that he captivated me and the audience, just seeing him play was like, so... Like, he played like that was his. You know, like everyone was there to see him. Like, I remember he got applauded so much that he had to come back out on stage. So when I see stuff like that, I was like, I want to make people feel like how he made me feel. But every year it seems like it's so competitive. And every year, like, people are better and better, you know? And it's like, I wanted it, but I never felt like, yeah, I could do that, you know? And not because, like, I doubt like my abilities as a player. It's just because every year there are amazing players and you kind of have to be held up against them. And it's people, even like when I played, like the people that I played finals with, it's like, man, I've been following these people for a really long time, like competing with them or like even just observing them, and like they're like guitar heroes for me. And so, you know, it's kind of like dealing with a little bit of like, wow, should I be here? Like, they're crazy good. But also like, wow, it's so cool that I'm considered, like even like considered to be next to them in this final. So yeah, I wanted it. But even like after I played finals and I felt okay about how I've played, I was just like on stage, like, yeah, okay.
Job done.
Yeah, it's over now. Like I was actually thinking to myself on stage when they were talking about like all the prizes and stuff that are part of winning GFA. I was like, man, I want that. Like, how many times am I going to allow myself to compete at GFA until I'm just like, I don't want to do this again. And then I won. So I was like, wait, I don't have to do this again. That's kind of amazing. That makes me happy. So yeah, kind of surreal.
Was that the first time you competed at the GFA? Yeah,
in the open division. I actually competed 2 years in the youth division in the senior, but I didn't even get to finals for both of them. The level was crazy.
Yeah. And you've done many competitions, right, around the world. And what do you learn from competitions? Of course, we see you like, wow, she won, but it was not always winning in your life.
No.
What did you learn from not winning other competitions? How did it change your mindset of going into competitions like GFA and not winning?
I think losing is as important, if not more important than winning. I think I'm just like very lucky that in my development as a guitarist, I had teachers that never, when I started competing, it never felt like the end goal was to win. Like winning was just like a perk.
Mhm.
Like winning is like, if you can win this, like that's awesome. You're gonna get a lot out of it. But then not winning is kind of, you can make the best situation out of it. You know, like
Mhm.
I've gotten opportunities from competitions that I've done where I haven't won,
Mhm.
but there was someone there that liked my playing. So then I was able to make that connection or like get a concert that way. If you go into a competition only wanting to win, you're taking so much away from a good experience that you can have. Because if you set that expectation so high, then you're kind of setting yourself up for failure because it feels like you only succeeded if you won.
Mhm.
So then if you didn't win, you're like, oh, I failed. But you gained so much from it. So I think I just got lucky that my teachers prepared me for that. It's like you might win, you might not win, but you should still, like, the most important part for me was like feeling good about how I played, like meeting new people, like all of these different aspects of a good festival.
Mhm.
Like a competition is only a small part of it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like now you're a guitar sensation in the world. You're like guitar goddess. Let's go. Everybody talks about you.
Mhm.
How do you feel about this? Like being I don't know. I don't even know how to phrase this
Yeah,
question.
kind of
But
like in
like
the spotlight
yeah,
a
in the
little bit.
spotlight.
It was really weird. Like especially right after GFA, I feel like a part of my life kind of exploded and a lot of people wanted to talk to me about it, which was fun but also like made me very nervous
Mm.
because like when people start talking about you, especially with a competition that's like as high profile as GFA, like first of all you can't control what anyone is saying about you. You just have to like control your mindset about it, positive or negative. It's yeah, I think that's was hard for me. It's like I feel like I couldn't control what would be perceived about me.
Mhm.
And then at the same time it's like you won this huge competition and now there's going to be an expectation
Oh yeah.
of you, you know, to perform a certain way. And especially the first couple of concerts that I was doing right after GFA, it's like I couldn't enjoy myself in the same way I usually do because I'm like, wow, well, now people know that I won GFA. And if I don't live up to their expectations, they're going to think, oh, well, why did she win? Like, maybe she's not a great winner. Like, all these things and kind of like battling with that mentally is like very difficult. So it was hard for me to get back into the mentality of performing because I love to perform. And this concert that I just did last Saturday was like, it felt very healing for me
Mhm.
because it's been a while since I had that much fun performing because you're preparing for GFA. It's so much anxiety.
Yeah.
And then you're doing GFA with so much anxiety. And then everything changed after GFA and I just didn't have that expectation that that was going to happen. So then it was like another issue. But now getting back into it, I feel like I'm kind of getting back to those roots and reminding myself why I like to perform. And I just had such a great time.
Can you briefly tell me about this guitar that
Yeah.
you brought today?
Yeah.
And I wanna know, we're gonna use B string and G string at the same time.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
also wanna know how did you start playing the guitar?
Yeah.
And did you start with nylon? Did you start with classical?
Yeah.
But first, when did you get this guitar?
I got this guitar.
What is this guitar?
This is okay. This is a Martin Blackwell guitar. He's a Canadian luthier, and it's a double top spruce guitar. It's a 640, so it's a little bit smaller scale. And I got it. I graduated from my master's from Columbus State University in Georgia. When was it? May 2023. So that's when I started using this guitar.
Oh.
So it was actually a guitar that was bought through the guitar studio at CSU, and I really liked it. I asked to borrow it for my graduation recital for my master's, and I was like, I love this guitar a lot. And so I sat down with my professor there, Andrew Zone. I was like, can I buy this guitar? I really want this guitar. And I was already considering getting a new guitar, but waitlists can be insane. And yeah, so he gave me the green light. I was like, yes.
Cool.
So I started using it that very summer, and I've been using it since then. So I guess she's still pretty new to me, but I love this guitar. I mean, since I started playing it, I feel like it really spoke to me. And I love the color. I love spruce.
Mm-hmm.
I love the color, and I love how
It's
it's
beautiful.
so transformative.
Mm.
Like the more you play it, the more it is changing and opening up the sound. And I think this was a spruce that when I first got it was already pretty open.
But did the school bought from
Yeah, it was brand
the
new.
first one? Oh, okay.
It was brand new. Yeah. So now, yeah, it was built in 2022. Actually, now it is.
And which guitar do you have before? You did many competitions before this.
Yeah.
What were you using before? Which
I was
guitar?
using a spruce Stephen Connor guitar,
Mm.
and that was kind of like my first. That was kind of my first real guitar. Like I had a luthier guitar from Puerto Rico, and it was a great guitar, but it was holding me back in a lot of ways. So the Connor guitar was like, and I'm eternally grateful to him and what he chose to do in giving the guitar to me. But one thing that was coming up a lot, because I was using it mostly in competitions, it was not a very loud instrument, which I don't think an instrument needs to be loud to be good. But when you're competing and everyone has a double top, it was kind of becoming an issue where I would talk to judges after and they were like, yeah, you need to think about that guitar. And like, because they like the sound and I love playing that guitar. They're like, when you're playing right after someone who's already bigger than you, has bigger hands, has more sound, and they're playing a double top guitar, it's kind of like difficult to put one against the other in that way.
You mentioned something that I didn't mention in the beginning. You're from Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And you said you had a first guitar, a luthier guitar in
Yeah.
Puerto Rico. How did it start for you, the guitar idea? Was it your idea, your parents' idea?
Well, my dad's a musician. He's a trumpet player and he's a sound engineer. So I was always like surrounded by music all the time. And it was never like they were pushing me and my siblings to do music. It just we naturally gravitated towards it because of like my dad being a musician. So I have two brothers and my middle brother and I are only 14 months apart. So usually when one of us had an interest in something, the other one would kind of like start with them. So my brother really wanted to play piano. Like I want to play piano all the time. And it's like my parents were waiting a little bit until we got a little bit older because they didn't want to start us too young. And so when he was like, I'm going to play piano, I had to choose an instrument. And I didn't know that many instruments. I was 6 going on 7. But I knew the guitar. My mom played a lot of music for us, like, and a lot of rock music too. And I loved the guitar, especially like when she was playing like 80s hair bands for us or like 70s rock music, like Led Zeppelin and things like that. Like it was so guitar forward. I was like, that's an awesome instrument. I want to play that. And especially I was interested in the guitar because my mom gifted me this live tour recording of a Shakira tour. Oh. And she played guitar in a lot of the songs. And she had like this crazy like big curly hair. And I was like, well, I kind of see myself with the hair. So it was like inspiring in that way. And I wanted to play electric guitar, but my parents kind of like pushed me a little bit to do classical just to have a good foundation. And then after that, they were like, if you want to do guitar, electric, then you can do that. But I just liked classical too much. So that was like the beginning of the guitar journey.
Surprise moment. Shakira performed. No, imagine out of nowhere.
The karaoke segment.
Like I'm from Brazil, and I think it's very similar. This the popular music, it's big. I don't know what kind of music your dad plays, but were you also in touch with Puerto Rican music and salsa?
Yeah, especially because I mean both. My mom listens to everything, but because of my dad's job, he works mostly with like Latin tropical music, like salsa, merengue, things like that. And so I grew up listening to a lot of that, and I love it so much. I mean, whenever I'm homesick, I'll probably listen to like El Gran Combo, like Héctor Lavoe, like things like that just really take me back. And then a lot of the other Puerto Rican music I listen to is like, I mean, everyone listens to Bad Bunny now, but I also listen to him when I'm homesick and
during the winter.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. When it's so cold and sad in Milwaukee, it's like a great way to put flavor back into my life. And I love Calle 13 too, like Residente, like rap music from Puerto Rico. So that was a lot of the music I've listened to here and at home.
I asked you about if winning GFA was a dream for you. I want to use this question in a different way.
Yeah.
Because I know you work a lot also besides playing the guitar.
Yeah, I do.
And how was balancing the dream of going to the GFA, competing at the GFA, working at the same time?
Yeah, it was
And-
hard.
And like, how did you organize your routine? Like practicing, preparing?
Yeah.
How long was your repertoire at the GFA? The entire thing?
Probably, actually, I don't know. Maybe like about an hour, I want to say.
Really that?
Yeah, maybe maybe a little over an hour.
The finals were like...
Finals were like 30 minutes, I would say.
Okay.
I kind of blacked out in my life for
If
that
not a
period,
lot.
so I want to say it was like about 30 minutes maybe. But yeah, the work-life balance was really... I got to do it from a place that wasn't too crazy because I had just graduated from my master's. So I graduate, I move out of Georgia, and I go back to Milwaukee. And I'm studying there privately with René Izquierdo, who is my undergrad professor as well. So he lets me come back and kind of study on a private basis. So it was good not having to worry about school and schoolwork and, you know, getting another degree. So that part made it a little bit easier, but then I was also I worked a cafe job, which I feel like working and then preparing for GFA is stressful in some ways, but at the same time, kind of like liberating because it would separate me from the stress of GFA, and being surrounded by people who don't really know about guitar is like very positive for me. So it was hard to balance that because a lot of times I would have early shifts, so I would wake up at like 5 in the morning, and I'm not a morning person, so it's a challenge for me. But like realistically, knowing if I worked all day, I needed to practice in the morning because then if I went home, I would be maybe too tired, or if I have to be an adult and cook and get groceries and whatever. So I'll be a lot of early mornings and a lot of late nights, just trying to get as much practice as possible. But yeah, I would wake up and like run my rep, and it was horrible. It was like, man, I sound so bad. But that was like the hardest thing I would have to do in my day. And sometimes it's nice to be done with the hardest thing first thing. And then from there, I would do my practice, address the things that happen, and kind of like set myself up for my practice routine. But it was hard to balance because I also like care a lot about my social life. And if I don't have a social life, I feel like I can go crazy. And if the only thing I'm thinking about is guitar.
I think that's beautiful. And
Yeah.
also like having this conversation here, like we know not only, oh, she won the GFA, but what's behind, what's your story. And I think people sometimes don't know that you don't have 24 hours free to practice the guitar.
I know.
But it's the dream and like the passion, the goals. And it's like practice when you have time.
Yeah, I think a lot of times I couldn't think about it too long, because then if I did, if I thought about it too long, I would probably be like, I don't want to do this. Like, it's too stressful. It's like, I'm barely sleeping. Like, especially like right before GFA, that's the only thing I was thinking about. And it's like crazy. It will consume you. So I think it kind of was good that for a while I was kind of on autopilot, just not thinking, just wake up, practice, work, practice, go hang out, like kind of on repeat. And if I thought too much about it, it was like I was gonna turn crazy.
Fifth string, this first one, I'm sorry if I'm not reading your question, we just got too many. I have to pick some.
Yeah.
What is your favorite musical era to play from?
I love just like anything from the 20th century. I really like. I mean, just this program that I did and on Saturday was all written in the 1900s, sometime in the 1900s. I just love playing that music. I think it fits my personality. It fits what I like to play, how like feeling good. I love that I can be very expressive with it. And I feel like with music from that era, it feels like less right and wrong answers. It's more like it's your interpretation. And I'm a very like intuitive player. So I like playing music that enables that.
I kind of asked you this, but maybe you can answer specifically this question. How do you structure your practice time?
It's really, it's very dependent on what's going on. Like, the way that I practice for competitions is going to be a little bit different than how I practice to get ready for a concert. Like, if they're asking about GFA specifically, it was kind of like what I talked about a little bit earlier. And then the other part was like playing for people as much as possible. Like, playing for an audience, no matter how small.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was playing at like churches that would give me the space, or like at nursing homes, or like for my friends, or studio recitals. Like any opportunity to really get that out was really important to me. So
But you practice like repertoire base.
yeah. I mean,
do you do like technique? Do you do warming up? I don't know.
Yeah, I do. It depends a lot. I mean, what's good about not being in a program but then being adjacent to a program is that I get to go to like the technique classes at UW Milwaukee.
Mhm.
And I think that helps me structure it, because I, like many other guitarists, can sometimes get a little bit lazy about technique. And the parts that I love so much about it are just performing in repertoire. So I'm just like, oh, I can practice technique through my repertoire, but I should definitely be practicing a lot more technique. But growing up, I was only doing technique for a very long time. When I started studying with Entree, it was all technique. So I think sometimes I just separate from it because I want a break, you know? But yeah, I try to get some technique in always. But it is a lot of like repertoire work and a lot of splitting the music and like separating voices so I can hear things more clearly.
Yes.
Sometimes, depending on where I am and what I'm doing, I try to record myself so I hear things that I might not hear when I'm just playing. So it's a lot. It changes. I feel like I don't have one routine. It depends if I'm preparing for a concert, I'm just playing a couple pieces, if I'm playing a whole program, if I'm competing.
Jim Sack21 asks, how many hours do you practice? in one word answer.
One word? Well, the
One
real
number.
answer is it depends, but when it was like GFA, it was like probably like maybe 6 hours. But that's probably the most I'll practice. Like I used to over practice, and then I had issues with like a lot of body pain, and I feel like if I practice too much, then it'll be bad for me physically and mentally.
Moving on to the sixth string, I'm gonna use one of these questions actually because I want to ask one more.
Yeah.
What will be the next goals? Very good question.
I think if I look too far ahead into the future, it's hard to answer. But if I look into my near future, it's not too bad. Like right now, my main thing that I'm thinking about is the tour coming up for the GFA.
Do you have an idea of how many concerts you're playing?
It'll be like about 40 concerts.
Around the US, right?
Around the US and Canada.
And
yeah.
Carnegie Hall.
I know. It's crazy. I can't believe it. I like, one of my brothers, he studied in New York City. So we would always pass Carnegie Hall and like look at all the posters and all the performances that are coming up. I'm like, man, I hope I can do that one day. So now it's crazy that that's going to happen. But I think in general, I just love to perform. That's what I want to do. If I could just do one thing in guitar, it would be perform in front of an audience. So that's like my goal, is like to play solo, to get to do collaborative music. I love playing with other musicians. Yeah, very ambiguous answer I'm giving you, but that's my dream. Yeah.
Have you thought about all the, what is the word?
The outfits?
Outfits for all the 40 concerts.
I know.
I want to talk to you. That was my question for this stream.
Yeah,
now.
Let's talk about that. Well, okay, it's hard. We were just talking about it when we were on our way here, but I'm like a bad packer because I just want to bring so many things with me, and I care so much about what I wear when I perform and how I present myself. And it goes back to like that character and like going performance mode. I feel like I need to get ready to get in the headspace, and it includes like doing my makeup and like getting ready and like the shoes I wear, like all those things.
And we talked a lot at GFA.
Yeah.
Because also for the finals and semifinals, like you specifically chose that outfit that, I don't know, helped you communicate with the audience. That's my opinion. I don't know. And I think that's very nice as a performer, because of course it's about music, but we also seeing a person on stage. And I think the way the artists present themselves.
It's so important to me.
Very important.
And some of my favorite musical artists are very like that. It's like very transformative. I mean, like right now, I mean, Steve knows I'm a really big Chapel Roan fan, and like her performing style is very like transformative. And she takes a lot of inspiration from drag and drag queens, and she kind of like will consider herself a drag performer. And I have that, obviously it's a much like lighter version of that, but I do feel that mentality where it's like getting ready for it, and what I wear, it's kind of like transforming me into that like alter ego.
Was it always like this for you, or when you realized that it like changed the way you
When I was really young, I was like very expressive in the way that I dressed myself. Like my mom would let me dress myself and I looked insane. Like like so many things going on, but it was like I was so into it. And she let me, which is great. She let me just like dress however I wanted. And then when you get older, you're kind of like a more self-conscious preteen, and then you're like a self-conscious teen, then and especially with guitar too, it can feel like a very conservative space in a lot of ways, and that you have to adhere to presenting yourself in a certain way. So I feel like that happened a lot in the beginning. I felt like I had to dress a certain way. And then when I realized I didn't, I was like, wait, I have so many options. Like, I can't remember when I started figuring it out, but I think like I got my first suit at like a thrift store, like a top and bottom suit. And I wore it for my junior recital in Milwaukee. And it was like, it made me feel so confident, comfortable. Like it was very like functional, but also like I felt really good in it, and it helped my confidence a lot. And that's kind of when I realized that like my clothes and my makeup and stuff was like a tool to help me perform. And I'm just like always at the thrift stores, like trying to find my next outfit. Most of the stuff I wore at GFA was thrifted. So, and it's fun. It's like a really fun thing. And I get really excited about it. Like, what do I want to communicate? Like, how does it make me feel? And sometimes, like, depending on the programs I have, it's like a different outfit goes with that. So it's really fun. I like that part a lot.
Just to wrap up, can you give our friends watching any advice, people who are starting the guitar now?
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're planning to have a career as a solo guitarist or compete. I don't know, live with the guitar. Any advice?
Maybe my advice is don't take it too seriously. Guitar can feel so scary and competitive. I've felt that a lot. But when I realized that it's kind of like a journey that you can be yourself in, is when you're kind of like gonna release all of those pressures. And I think that's what is most important to me in guitar, is that comparison is like the thief of joy, is what people say. And every guitarist has something different to bring. And I think when I realized that I don't need to be like the best guitarist is when I really like settled into what I want to do and how I feel with this instrument, which like it's so much pressure to think I need to be the best, I need to play the best, and you're gonna take a lot away from a good experience if you have that mentality. Like performing competitions, when you go to school, like every single guitarist has something different to bring, and I think that's very important to think about. And that would be probably my advice, to just stay in your own lane basically, and have a good understanding of why you want to do it. Is probably the most important thing, because when you are doing it for the wrong reasons, then you're not really gonna enjoy it.
Thank you, Leo, so much. I couldn't wait for this episode, to be honest.
I was so excited. When I saw the first episode, I was like, oh, I really want to get invited to do this. So I'm so happy this worked out.
Really, thank you so much. And thank you everyone who watched. Stay in the loop for the next episodes of the Augustine Strings Wind Up. If you didn't subscribe in the beginning, do it now.
Yeah.
Follow Augustine Strings on Instagram. And that's it. Thank you.